Hello everyone, my name is Financial Charles and welcome back to another Bitcoin video. Today is August 15th of 2023 and the current price of Bitcoin is about $29,300. So of course it went down from yesterday, but very little. Once again, we are still in very low volatile times. So now, this price is still a buy for me. I accumulate every single day, dollar cost average, and hopefully never sell. That's the goal. And today I wanted to talk about Bitcoin versus gold. So, as we know, gold has been the store of value for humanity for the past 6,000 years, ever since before the Roman Empire, even. Gold is able to hold up, it's very durable, and it's rare and it's scarce, and that's why humanity has used gold as a store of value for over 6,000 years. But I wanted to talk about how Bitcoin is better than gold, and although gold was the hardest money, it is no longer the hardest money now that Bitcoin exists. So to explain that, here's the first point: is gold supply increases 1 to 1.5% per year. So each year that goes by, about 1% more of gold is mined up from the ground. And currently, in the year 2023, Bitcoin's inflation rate is also about the same as gold. It's about 1.5% as well. And we are quickly coming up to the April 2024 halving, which is, I believe, in about 8 or 9 months. When the halving comes, the Bitcoin block reward will get cut down from 6.25 Bitcoin to 3.125 Bitcoin for each block mined, which means that the inflation rate of Bitcoin will now be half of gold's inflation rate. So it starting April 2024, the flow, the stock to flow of Bitcoin will now be it'll be more scarce than gold. So that's going to be coming up. Another thing about Bitcoin versus gold is that technically the government can seize your gold if they knock on your door and demand that you turn in all your gold. This happened in 1933 when President FDR confiscated everyone's gold, and that was the beginning of the fall of the U.S. dollar being backed by gold. And then obviously in the 1970s, we know that the dollar was officially taken off the gold standard and you were no longer able to redeem the US dollar for gold. And now that's why the US dollar is, inflationary, it's fiat. There are more dollars in circulation than there is gold backing it. So the US dollar is no longer hard money. It used to, it started off as that, but, once they stopped allowing you to turn in your dollar bills for gold, they're able to just inflate the dollar away. Another thing about gold versus Bitcoin is infinitely divisible, whereas gold, you cannot practically divide that for everyday transactions. 1 ounce of gold today is about $2,000. And, an ounce is not very big. You can hold that in the palm of your hand. And if you wanted to buy something for, let's say, $15, no one really shaves off gold dust to pay for a good. And in fact, when it came to transactions like that, people use silver because an ounce of silver, right now it's about $20. It's a lot more divisible with, smaller items like that. Another thing is portability. With Bitcoin, you can send it to anyone in any country, anywhere, and it's quick. And it happens, the transaction confirms in a couple minutes. It is borderless. You are able to move it from country to country. You don't have to get permission from a bank. You don't have to jump through all these hoops to get your money from one country to another. And that's a practical use case for people in third world countries. It's a practical use case for people that travel from country to country. And also, you cannot travel you cannot transport large amounts of gold without having it be very expensive. With Bitcoin, it's a small transaction fee that goes to the miners. It could be $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. You can move it across the world instantly with very little fees. Whereas with gold, to transport billions of dollars of gold, you have to, transport it in trucks. You have to transport it by plane and by boat, and you have to have security guarding that gold because someone might loot the truck. But you cannot really loot someone's Bitcoin if they don't have your private keys, they cannot move your Bitcoin. So that's another thing that, Bitcoin has over gold. It's the portability. And another thing is, gold, you can continuously mine gold each year. With Bitcoin, it's coded into the protocol that there are only 21 million coins ever in circulation. So gold is scarce, but Bitcoin is fixed. It's a fixed supply. There's a finite amount. There's gold in space. There are gold asteroids. So in theory, it can be possible to mine the gold in space. It'll inflate the amount of gold in supply even more, which will make the value of it go down. So there are some people that argue that with gold, it has value other than its monetary premium. Like you can use it to conduct electricity. But in reality, when people use that argument, they didn't look into it deep enough, because you don't really use gold to conduct electricity. And even if you do, that's less than 10% of what, the price of gold. The price of gold, it's determined by its monetary premium. If gold were to be demonetized, it would go down to its utility value, which is probably 10% of what it is right now. So there is value in gold besides the monetary premium, but most of gold is mostly priced due to its monetary premium. And there are a lot of Bitcoin maxis out there that believe that gold will be demonetized and debased in comparison to Bitcoin over time. And they're not completely wrong. If you look at this chart right here, this might look like the Bitcoin chart to you, but in reality, this is the Bitcoin to gold chart. So that means that the more it goes up, that's how much more valuable Bitcoin is in comparison to gold. If it goes down, that's where gold gains more value over Bitcoin. But as you can see here, ever since the inception of Bitcoin, this chart looks exactly like the Bitcoin USD chart, but it's not. It's the Bitcoin gold chart. Right now, it's about 15 units of gold per one Bitcoin, which is about right, because 15 units of gold is about $30,000, which is about what Bitcoin is right now. This chart looks exactly like the USD chart, but it's the Bitcoin to gold chart. And like we were talking about yesterday, I wanted to show you the Bitcoin compared to S&P. If you look at the Bitcoin to S&P chart, it looks like the S&P is also bleeding against Bitcoin. The more Bitcoin goes up, that means that Bitcoin gains value over the S&P. If it goes down, that means the S&P is gaining more value over Bitcoin. With this chart, is looking exactly like the Bitcoin USD chart. Everything bleeds against Bitcoin. And we will continue to witness this over time. And if you're watching this video, we are early, and hopefully, instead of being in the trading game, you can be in the hodling game, where you just continue to buy no matter the price, and you don't even plan on selling, because you know that in the future you won't have to sell. You won't have to sell. You could just hold on to your Bitcoin forever, and then there will soon be a future where we can safely borrow against our assets, so we don't have to realize any capital gains. Because when you borrow against an asset, that's a loan, that's not taxable, whereas if you sell at a gain, that is a taxable event. So this, of course, we're very early, and also Lightning Network is still in its infancy. It's still not completely user friendly, but we are getting there. So soon, transactions will be instant and very cheap for everyone, and it's a good path that we're headed on. But this Bitcoin train, it can only stay down for so long. As soon as BlackRock gets in, and who knows, maybe they're already in and other companies are already in, but they're going to continue to pile drive more capital into the protocol as time goes on. The Bitcoin train will not wait for you. It doesn't. You must buy on the regular. Doesn't matter if it's every day, every week, every month. Just buy on the regular. You don't even wait until 20K, because what if it never goes down to 20K ever again? What if this 29,271? What if this right here is the lowest it's going to be? Now, on my personal chart, now these are again just nonsense lines, but I'm mentally prepared for it to go to 24,000 to 19,000. I'm mentally prepared for it to go down, and in fact, I want it to go down there so that way I can buy more sats for the same amount of US dollars. That's the game. The game is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as you can. The goal is to not trade in and out of Bitcoin. The goal is to not earn more USD by trying to buy Bitcoin low and then sell it high. That's not the goal. We don't care about the USD. We want to accumulate as much sats as possible. We want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible, because at the end of the day, there's only 21 million Bitcoins in circulation, and that's going to be forever. And you're competing against 70 or 7.5 billion other entities in the world, and more humans will continue to be born. So that 21 million pie, you're dividing that amongst billions and billions and billions of other people. So it's important to get ahead. If you're watching this video, chances are, you're putting yourself in a position to be ahead. And the reason that I'm making these videos is because I would like to look back at these times and say, wow, I can't believe we just had such amazing opportunities to buy here. This was the summer of 2022 when Bitcoin was at 17,000. And then, of course, the November, December when it went down to 15,000. These are just incredible buying opportunities. And it's so crazy that, when it was at 15,000, we really didn't truly realize just how cheap that was. That was mega, mega, mega cheap. That was below the 2017 all-time high, well below it. It was well below it right here. So just keep on stacking. I remember when we were at this bull run, this 29,000 range was brutal. It was brutal. But had you bought here and rode it all the way up here, you would have doubled your money. So if you were up here wishing that you bought down here, now's your opportunity today to buy as much as you can. So without dragging the video out for too long again, I'm just going to wrap it up now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will continue to make more Bitcoin videos. I will see you tomorrow.